Good. I think that does it. So welcome to the EUROCAST. I think Dante's delayed tonight. Oh no, there he is. Look at him. Look at him scrambling to get ready. That's the way it is, you know. I sent him a WhatsApp text, and you know how it goes. Hey, I was just talking about you.
Yeah, I literally just got home.
Ah,
like on the minute.
Yeah. I thought you were on the way, you know. But it wasn't like me. You didn't fall asleep or anything, did you?
No, I was away. I wasn't at home. Like, was far away.
Yeah. Visiting, you know, the new president, of course. You know, same as the old president. So it's quite easy.
Yeah.
Same place. You know?
Yeah.
Dante has contacts. So anyway, welcome, Dante.
Welcome,
today's
people.
topics.
Yeah, we have topics. Yeah, we have topics.
We do. Today's.
I mean, I
go
did. Wait, before we go into that. First of all, are we live?
Yeah, go
Hello?
on.
You know, are we live right now?
Yes, we
on
are.
Twitch?
Yeah.
Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the EUROCAST.
This is how it always goes, you know. 3 minutes before I like send Dante a message on WhatsApp. That's when he kind of pops in.
Yeah,
So,
and by the way,
yeah,
I did check great subreddit where you guys should go. It's our EU news, a great subreddit. And this is an inside secret, which I shouldn't tell you, but I'm going to. What we do, 5 minutes before the podcast, we go there, we sort by most popular this week, and from there we get the list of topics. So if
Pretty
you
much.
want to know what we are going to talk about, let's go there.
Yeah, that's right, Abby. So I have to just explain to people one thing that this week I injured my back, so I'm sitting here in pain right now. If you hear me making any weird noises, that's only because I've just kind of moved. I'm getting old, man. It's not good.
Yeah, but you are in the Netherlands. There's plenty of drugs to alleviate the pain.
EMA is right around the corner, so you know I can always get the doctors to prescribe me something. So that's nice, you know. Still a sore point between Dante and me, of course, you know, because what was it? The EMA was going to go to Milan first.
Yeah, that was.
And then we bribed him.
Literally on a coin flip. And I think some bribery from the Netherlands as well.
Of course, you know.
I'm pretty sure there was some bribery involved, but you know.
Yeah, also from the Italian side, but you know the Netherlands just has more money, so you know it's easier. It's like yeah, we can do that for you. You know, we'll build you a new building.
You are the Italy of the North.
Yeah,
to some degree.
you are the Netherlands of the South. You know, it's just how it is. Anyway, the topics for this week. Topics are, of course, we'll talk about FG, the FG updates every week. The same.
Yes.
I want to talk about the Olympics. You know.
The Olympics.
Yeah.
Great topics. One of the greatest topics is WTO lology.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was looking at as I said earlier, on the EU news posts there. And it was great because there's like it's Taiwan and Japan join the EU against China. Then the next topic, the US joins. The next topic, Australia. It's like
everyone's piling on, so that's going to be fun, you know. It's to kind of talk about that, and of course what the WTO does and means and stuff like that. You know, it's I always think it's you know, I mean, these institutions are often, you know, you hear about them, but you never kind of really find out what's going on.
Until everyone gangs on China. I mean, the thing is, I think right now it's pretty much for everyone there. So the others are like, yeah, I don't like China. I'm going to China as well. Why not?
Yeah, but it goes deeper than that. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, but you know.
So we also have just pull up the list again. We also have the new France. Macron's been. Hey.
What happened in France?
Oh,
nothing
happened in France.
Nothing happened in France. So next up, we're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the EU's new chip industry
Yeah.
boost which they're giving. 43 billion over the next 7 years, so it's not going to be a little money, you know.
Yeah, and since that's going to be a tech topic, might as well add a bit on the EU against Facebook and Google once again.
That's right.
So that's
always good news, you know.
yeah. Google AdSense has been deemed illegal in Austria, and Meta might have to cease operations in Europe. Which, by the way, the best thing is, as soon as that became like a possible news, everyone was going, I can live without Facebook. Can we eliminate Facebook from our lives? Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, yeah, okay, on Reddit and on Twitter, of course, people are going to say that, you know. But there are still some apps that most people use, you know, which could be.
I mean, the issue is when it comes to WhatsApp.
Yeah,
and Instagram to some degree as well.
Yeah,
but Facebook, no.
Yeah, Instagram is more for boomers now. I think most teens have switched over to TikTok. So,
by the way, the biggest issue, it's as you know, Meta owns Oculus, the old Oculus, which means
of course, yeah.
What would happen to my games on there? Can I still play them on VR? VR. That's what it is about. Anyways,
you just have to treat Mark Zuckerberg better. You know, you have to call him more often. It's you know, I mean, you have his phone number. So
speaking about treating dictators better, Russia
and Russia, yes, the last topic, of course. You know, lots going on there this week.
Last topic, which that's not a great topic. People are, everyone is coming home.
Yeah, everyone is coming home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. So yeah, that's going to be a topic.
That's going to be fun. So yeah, let's talk about the. Let's start. So first of all, FG updates. This week was nice and quiet. We didn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while. It can't be always too much news. Otherwise, if it's always
what
exciting.
we did decide is that we're going to do. There's a new feature on Reddit, which is called the talk feature, which is much like what we do with here on Discord and Twitch of stages. You can make your own podcast on Reddit, and it's still in trial. We've tried it on the r/Europe subreddit with a Y, obviously, and that seems to work well. So you know, I'm going to be trying to do that every Sunday from now on. I tried to fit it in on a Friday and it never goes well.
Yeah, it's a bit harder on a Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Sunday, everyone's home and everyone's kind of like, you know, I want to just sit around and, you know, before I go to bed, I want to listen to some topical stuff.
Yeah. So
yeah. So that's what we've been working on this side. Also, you know, the website progresses. There's been
slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely, and Eurobot as well. Eurobot is our Discord bot for those on Twitch who are listening, and he's doing quite well. So I'm going to be moving him this week to the new VPS which he bought, so that he'll be online forever. You know, so that'll be fun. So no more crashes because my Raspberry Pi got too hot or something. You know?
Yeah. That used to happen often.
Yeah, often. That's how it is, you know. So the first real topic then, the Olympics, the LOL Olympics. Really.
What happened?
Well, lots happened really this week. I mean, apart from Europe basically leading the medal table, of course, you know, which is very nice.
Yeah. Was it? I don't remember which sport. You know the one where it's like. I mean, they're all nice. It's like they throw like it's not a ball, but the one that you throw the ball the closest to the smallest ball.
Curling.
Yeah. That I think it was curling.
Yeah.
I think there, like Italy got gold. Gold.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I was reading a post about that. There was like Canada has 2 million people is on like curling clubs.
Yeah.
The USA like 20,000, and then there was like other places 10,000. Then Italy 300 people doing it.
And they're still the best in the world.
They won 11 matches out of 11. And the memes were like Italy 2021,
Yeah.
we won everything but this. 2022, okay, man, I got you.
I got you this time. Well, I mean, it's probably just one village in the Dolomites somewhere.
Yeah,
Just
probably.
just a
I mean,
tiny little hamlet where everyone plays this game.
I mean, to be honest, it has to really suck for Canada.
Yeah.
Like they have 2 million people doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
And this couple, like the ones that won, they were not even doing it last year. Like it's not like they started like now, kinda. It's like, yeah, let's try it. Okay, we won, easy. Because
I mean, come on, I mean, the first game as well. The first game that was played when the Olympics started was curling. Was Italy versus the USA, and or one of the first games in any case. And I did watch it, and it was really nice to see. I mean,
yeah, but I think the issue is that you shouldn't have Italians.
Yeah.
It's too easy
Yeah,
otherwise.
but I mean, to me, it's a really interesting sport as well because you've got ice skating, you've got skiing, all the things that people expect from the Winter Olympics, and then there's curling, which is like, it must be a British game because or a Canadian game because I have no idea where this came from except for a few years ago.
I mean, to be fair, it's not. It's pretty much the same game that you do with balls on sand.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what the name would be in English. Just doing it on ice.
Yeah, there's a French name for it.
The thing is here.
Jeu de boule, I think. Jeu de boule.
Yeah, no, it's not called that way here.
That's what the Dutch call it anyway. So.
Yeah, we're
If any French people are listening right now, citoyen, please find out for us what that game is called.
But yeah, the thing is that's done like for old people. Like when you are 70, 80, that's what they do. Like they hang out and play that.
It's the cheap man's golf, basically.
Yeah, kinda. And
golf. So
curling is the winter version of that for old people.
Can you imagine going out in that weather, just to this field and trying this shit,
Anyways, I kind of derailed the topic.
Yeah, kind of, but that's okay, I mean, this is a EUROCAST after all, so we can do what we want. But another thing that in the Olympics where we saw this week was kind of protests by all the major countries which were involved in it because of the housing situation for the athletes is absolutely shit. They had massive water damage in the finish.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw some posts about what inside their apartments or whatever. But to be fair, they're made in China.
Yeah, exactly. What do you expect? You have to if you can live there for a day or two, that's okay. But after that, everything just kind of slowly starts just falling apart. As we're used to, but also on the outside, there were also a lot of complaints about the venues, because what they're doing is they're using artificial snow, and we're using artificial snow basically untreated on the snowboarding slopes and on the ski slopes, makes it so that you can't really predict the games anymore. Yeah, and the conditions on the slopes are just crap because of it. There's been a number of accidents because of it, and people are not happy, with how it's going over there.
Yeah, but it's really important.
Yeah.
That we are not happy because there's a bit of water where they're sleeping, and because the ice is not nice. But we don't care about the people getting genocide. That's
exactly. No, that's exactly.
Okay.
I mean, this is the other thing that I did want to talk about. I mean, there have been a number of protests. I don't think many people are watching. People are kind of done with China.
But
a lot of protests
on
Twitter and on the internet saying, don't watch this.
To be fair, I don't know that many people. First of all, do the Winter Olympics, I feel the Winter Olympics are seen less to begin with.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit less. It's everything on ice. It's almost like always the same sport, like different versions of the same thing. I mean, it's not that, obviously, it's not true, but it can feel like that. So it's less exciting for some people to see, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this might be just for me, but I don't think that many people watch Olympics to begin with. It's not like the World Cup, which everyone watches, or the Euro Cup or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
that.
exactly.
It's not football. That's
For us Europeans, and since it's in China, you know, there's not really a connection to it. And
and it's far away. And it's
far away, and the diplomatic
Yes.
boycott, of course, doesn't help either. I mean, to countries that have a president, it doesn't really matter. But when you come
Yeah,
from a
no,
country
I
like
don't-
I do, which is the Netherlands, of course.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I really, really don't think that matters.
Yeah,
I
it
really,
does.
really
It
don't think.
does, because our king isn't there. You know, he's not cheering on the athletes, so that means that it's not official Dutch event. You know, so no one really watches it.
Yeah.
That's
I
how it
don't think
works, you
that-
know. I live in
I
a
don't
democratic monarchy, so you know it's much better than having a president, of course. You know.
Imagine not having Mattarella in your life.
Imagine having Mattarella forever. That might be much better. You know? And then his son,
No, poor man.
and then his son who looks exactly like him.
Wait, why do you hate Mattarella? Leave
Oh,
the
come on.
the poor man alone.
He said
needs to
yes.
get arrest. yeah, but he had to. It was like, pretty please, otherwise
please,
we are
yeah.
fucked. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
literally, and you don't know that, he had paid for his new apartment.
Yeah.
And since he had to say no too late, the money he paid for the advance payment, that's gone.
That's gone. Oh. But did he buy the house or was going to rent it?
No, he was just gonna rent.
Well, that's his own fault. You know, he should have bought the house. You know, that's an investment. You know, I know. For example, you know, X-Raider and Owen would really want me to say this, but you know.
Yeah, but I think becoming president of the republic is a good enough investment where you live forever without having to work.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, Mattarella forever, basically. You know, it's
as I said,
you have that anyway, but you know.
No, because poor man, he needs some rest.
Yeah,
and
but then he can step down
kids.
and his son can take over, you know.
I don't want his son. I want Mattarella. I want the real deal. I don't want the cheap version. I don't want the Chinese version, like the knockoff.
See, if you breed them for a number of centuries, they actually turn out better. You know, so I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, you should just get a king. It's much easier.
No.
Nah,
I mean, the last time Italy had a king, we got fascist and the World War started.
Yeah, but you know,
and,
you have the
and
wrong
the German
king.
and the German really liked our fascist, and so he started doing it as well. I think Italy should not have a king.
Maybe in the future, you know, I can convince you. But anyway, so I mean, during the Olympics, because of the diplomatic boycott, some countries really don't, you know, care for it unless their royalty is involved. You know, I mean.
To be honest, if you like the Winter Olympics, you don't care. If you didn't like them, you wouldn't watch them.
Yeah,
maybe
I
it could sway the casual crowd, which when you zap around, you see the Olympics, you think, let's watch it 5 minutes. But then you remember, oh, my dear king, my excellency is not there, so they don't live there.
I've put in the chat. I've put the little gif of our king celebrating. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you want. You know, he's like the man.
Yeah, that's football though.
Yeah, I know. But it's the same thing with the Olympics. You know, there's always especially with Summer Olympics. There's like a Dutch village which is set up every year.
But this is the Winter Olympics, so
yeah.
No
So
one cares.
you know, and it's in China. There's already enough villages. You know. But you know,
by the way,
another criticism of the Olympics was of course the Uyghur situation. They actually had the Uyghur
the opening.
Yeah, during the opening of the ceremonies, which was kind of, you know, a re-educated Uyghur, and that was seen as kind of a real snub to the way that we in the West see human rights. Going on, and also
it was adjudicated, you know. I wonder, do you think only one relative had a gun to the head, or all relatives did?
Oh, no,
That's
no,
the
no.
real question.
All relatives in perpetuity, you know. That's the North Korean model, you know. For the
Yeah,
next
man,
three
obviously.
generations, that's it, you know.
I don't think there's going to. I don't think that works though. How can there be new generations if they will die?
I don't know, you
See?
know. There must be some poison involved or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Nice.
yeah, it's like 20 minutes we're talking about it.
Yeah.
We are still not able to say anything because I derailed it. But
That's fine, you know. That's
to
fine.
be fair, we called it the Olympics.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You know, well, we can go on with the next topic. I mean, from China trying to present itself nicely to China trying to get away with it nicely. This week, of course, the EU
no,
lodged last week.
it,
The EU lodged a
it
case.
could have been the WTO gangbang as well. That would have been a nice. If,
Yeah, but you know, if I put that on Twitch, you know, you never know what's going to happen. You know? The
that's
WTO gangbang. You know.
that's a fair point.
I think what was it last week? I mean, last week's show was called "Please
That
Don't."
was
Yeah,
cost us something.
yeah, it cost us something, and I wanted to make an abortion joke, and thought they said no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, kind of not want to get cancelled by Twitch.
yeah, exactly. You know, no, let's not make abortion jokes in the title. Let's
Yeah,
not go there.
only the content. Anyway,
Anyway, so this week, or last week, the EU launched a case with the WTO, the World Trade Organization, basically supporting Lithuania. China is,
wait, we need to get a bit. We need to start a bit from back in the days.
yeah, okay,
What happened? Lithuania one day they decided that Taiwan number one. China didn't like Taiwan number one, so they started going sanctions and stuff against Lithuania, like economic, a bit of an economic war, you know, the stuff that China does. The EU didn't like it. I mean, at the start, the EU was a bit like some were with Lithuania, some were please don't, we don't want to go to war with China
with
about
China,
it.
exactly, you know, economically.
But at the end, they all had to agree to do that. So now the EU started this. And as I was saying earlier, the best part that it started that way. Then others started slowly joining, like the US joined, then Canada, then Japan, Australia, and now I've seen the UK. And the thing is, the more people join, the more it's like, I mean, everyone is there. Might as well join.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big pylon on China at the moment, you know, and to be honest, it's expected. I mean, the EU is taking a harder and harder stance at the WTO. The WTO is the World Trade Organization, which is basically this organization that guarantees free global trade, you know.
Also known as our bitch.
Yeah, exactly. It's had problems in the past, you know. The WTO has to have a council, and that council has to be staffed. And if that council's not staffed, they can't vote. And now China, the US, under
the
Trump
US.
had some trouble getting someone in their spot at the WTO.
Well, I wouldn't say it that way. It wasn't that they had problems. It was more that Trump didn't want to put anyone there, so he could pretty much render the WHO useless, and he could do what he wanted to do. So it wasn't like he couldn't. It's more like that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of like a reason behind that. When I was a lot younger, because I often listen to these shows from the United States about like their conspiracy theories and stuff. And one of the big conspiracy theories is, of course, that the WTO controls the world. You know, that it's some kind of Illuminati, you know, and should be abolished, and you know, is part of the global elite and blah blah blah. So I mean, when Trump got in, you know, he kind of capitalized on that feeling that many people had, that you know these international institutions aren't trustworthy, And of course the conspiracy. He amplified the conspiracy theories on this massively, and
I like that's a part of it, but I don't think it's necessary. Like that's I mean, for sure there are those people, and Trump wanted to pander a bit to those, but I don't think it's mainly that. The
no, but
issue is
then that
that
was
the
a big reason
US.
for him to kind of he went,
I don't know
okay, I can
because
use this, and
that's though it's the fringes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, most of the US, like most people, they don't like international recognitions too much.
Yeah.
They don't. The US doesn't recognize anything above the US, and which is why sometimes when there are UN votes, you have everyone for it and the US against,
Yeah,
because it would be, even if it's like good stuff, because they don't want something to be above it. Like they would never have something where, like in the EU, where you are like Italy says EU law is above it, or international law, or whatever.
Except China says, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yes, but the US has always had this kind of view towards international organizations, which, to be fair, it's a bit because they could. Other places are using those those organizations to help each other to some degree and coordinate. Meanwhile, the US, at least in the past, didn't really need to.
Yeah.
They could do everything by themselves, so they didn't want anyone above them. I mean, who wants? At the end of the day, if you think about it, no one wants someone above you, unless you need something above to protect you from the others.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also valid. I mean, it's not a valid criticism, as it were, but
No, I mean, it's not. It's not really a criticism to the system. It's simply how the US works, how people,
exactly.
And that's why I was saying that yes, there are like the conspiracy theories as well in the fringes, but then normal people, they don't really like the idea that another entity can tell the US what to do, no matter which entity, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the WTO. How that kind of. I mean, let's get to come back to the topic. I mean, how the WTO now is going to deal with, for example, China in this situation. It's an incredibly political organization, of course. And that's something that we've seen, over the years. Every country wants their just desserts, as it were. Not just the US. With China frequently dumping products on the market, that's also something that the WTO can't really do anything about. It's basically stealth tariffs.
I mean, imagine like we have in the EU. I mean, the EU started kind of the same way, and then we had to do a Court of Justice. We had to do a parliament because kind of needed.
Yeah.
Now imagine on a world scale where countries are not exactly necessarily friendly to each other. Imagine
or culturally
how much
compatible,
more,
even. Exactly.
Yeah, imagine how much more complicated and different has to be working.
This is why the EU should take over the world, guys. It's very easy.
I mean that's.
It's easy, just break up all the countries into their constituent parts and then just have them join the EU individually would be the best thing, It's bit of world domination there. I mean, anyway, this is still going on. This topic. When you lodge a case with the WTO, it usually takes years and years to get something like this. Sometimes even decades to get something like this worked out. And meanwhile, China can get away with what it does. It's not like they're going to stop doing that.
I mean, the thing is, even
from projects.
If the thing is, if the WTO goes against China, like finds that China is doing something bad, what it can do is put like agree, let other countries do sanctions or whatever.
Yeah.
So what happens is simply a way for the EU to sanction China without getting sanctioned by other members of the WTO, but for China, it really doesn't matter too much, to be honest. But even when it
mean,
comes to
yeah.
its international image to begin with, it's still a big blow.
Exactly.
Especially when it's
I
everyone.
mean, China isn't. China. I mean, China's playing a very smart game at the moment. They know that that they are part of the international community, and they want to be seen as part of the international community within their own within their own context. And this means that they still want to play ball. It's not like for example Russia who sees itself as apart from the international community in many cases.
I mean, it sees as part. Nah, depends.
Yeah.
The thing is, China sees itself as part of the international community, but not in the Western sense.
Yeah.
Like democracy, China and Russia literally. When was it? Like last year or whatever?
Yeah.
They had that thing about democracy. How it's not like democracy is only the way they do it in the West. There are other kinds of democracies, like what we do. It's democracy here, sure.
Sure,
Like,
yeah. Best joke ever,
Really democratic.
Very democratic, everyone knows China is the most democratic state.
Really.
But I mean, you can also see it, for example, when they also try. I mean, I'm not saying that China doesn't leverage its weight in the international community or anything, but they really do want to be part of it. It's not like whereas Russia, would disconnect itself from the WTO, China would not, for example. And as they're still part of, for example, the UN, they also have a lot of say in what goes on in the UN Security Council, and they leverage that quite well.
A fair way to say it, it's not they don't necessarily want to cooperate in that the national community as much as they want to gain control to some degree.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
They literally, and you can see it in the UN votes when China proposes something. Usually, some African countries go with them because they are the ones where China invested.
Exactly.
So they have. They are not exactly going to. The idea that they are going to come around and become more democratic and liberal, that's not going to happen.
Not happen, exactly.
But they're not. We are not going to do much using the international community in that sense. They're there, but using it for their own advantage.
Yeah. Now, of course, we'll see how long President Xi lasts. I mean, he's basically the dictator now. There's no more. The Central Committee is basically China's been completely, defanged. So he basically rules the country.
He's
so
the new
it'll be
Mao.
interesting to see. Yeah, he's the new Mao.
Much.
We need the Mao.
I mean, the mouse. We really hope he doesn't have a long life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I don't like wishing death on people, but it's not a person I would mourn to some extent.
I mean, if we could have a democratic China without him dying, it would be fine by me. Meant to be on, maybe putting him behind bars.
Sorry, I'm trying to like skirt the rules here a little bit, but anyway, I mean that's China for you. So I mean, but coming back kind of from what China is, this WTO thing will last forever basically. And we'll only see the outcome of that later. I mean,
I guess to be fair, something we didn't talk about, enough, I guess, is how everyone is joining. So first, they think the EU is going to win this litigation, but that doesn't really matter much. What matters, they're sending the message they are against China.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you start doing this, now China can target you as well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's
it's
also,
a big
I mean,
thing,
the
right?
EU is and this is something that did surprise me, and I think this is kind of the influence of the new German chancellery, is that before under Merkel it would probably been a lot harder to move the EU towards doing something like this.
I mean, to be fair, it was quite hard at the start. I mean, this German government tried to get Lithuania to stop.
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah. But that's that's on one side. They said Lithuania tone it down. But they did support the case going to the WTO. Through the EU, and I think that's quite marked because under Merkel that would never have happened.
I know
I
that
think
it would
the
never
the
happen.
thing is we
I'm
don't
not
see
sure.
what Schultz does a lot because he's a quiet man. He's not someone who is yet comfortable in the role as Germany representing Germany as a as,
He's doing his job quite. I mean, in theory, in Germany, when it comes to chancellor, it's supposed to be like a civil servant. It's not like necessarily a leader to some degree. Like it's not like he has all the powers or whatever. It's like more a coordinator of ministers which have the power, kinda. So he's trying to be more that and less like doesn't want to be the leader now yet.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to do it in the future. And to be fair, it's kind of hard to get to fill Merkel's shoes in there.
Yeah. Well, Schultz went to visit Biden this week as well, and here Black Owl says, well, Olaf has to deal with the consequences of Angela's foreign policy. Yeah, he has to set everything right first, But he went to
wait. He was there.
Yeah.
He was literally the vice. I mean, his party was in government. This was a coalition government. It's not like he didn't have a hand in the things they did. And Angela's foreign policy, it's not what we would like in some instances, but most of the time it was what Germans wanted. You couldn't really say that it wasn't quite what they wanted. I mean, we don't like what Germans wanted there.
Shill Biden here says, unpopular opinion, Merkel's Russia policy wasn't that bad. The relationship between Angela and Putin was, of course, very good. She's worked on that basically, and Scholz, of course, is total unknown. He'll be going to Moscow, I think, this week to talk about Ukraine, obviously. That'll be the first meeting of Scholz and Putin. And we'll see how that goes. I mean, this week's famous meeting with Macron and Putin was, of course, the talk of the town. Macron being basically snubbed by being seated at a massively long table. And the discussion was quite stilted. And Macron was actually snubbed a few times by Vladimir Putin. He wasn't given the expected honor guard. When a president arrives to a country, you get the whole spiel. You get to meet the queen, or you get to see the royal guards or the national guards. So he had to just go through the airport, and everyone was like, "What's going on here?" So that was of course nice to see. But I guess we kind of drifted into the new topic, by the way, which is en France.
Yeah, I mean, we can go there before we go to the full-on Russia topic, which is going to come up.
That's why I put the Russia topic at the end. I thought to myself, this is going to take a while to kind of go through it. But the next two topics are quite short, so we can kind of get into that. This week, of course, Macron was visiting Putin. He also came out with his new statement on France and the tech world. He called it the new tech awakening. He of course wants 14 new nuclear reactors in France. So
which is not enough.
Which is not enough. More, please. Yeah.
Literally. To be honest, I don't have the numbers, but I remember right now there are quite a few that are offline because they need they are under maintenance, so they are offline, and others that are going to go offline forever because they're old.
Yeah.
So those 16, they're not going to increase the total amount of production that much compared to. But if it was banned, we need more because
exactly.
Italy doesn't have electricity.
This indicates that France is at least securely behind nuclear as technology. And I think that's important for Europe as well.
Well, it was a bit of a given.
Yeah, true.
It would be weird if France wasn't for nuclear. It would be like, what?
Yeah, no, we're gonna all change it to windmills today. What? In France, no.
Only nukes, nothing else.
But of course, this all has to do with the upcoming election in France, which is now only 2 months away. And Macron's obviously also kind of leveraging the European presidency, which France holds. The president of the Republic of France has absolutely nothing to do actually with how the presidency of the European Council is going. But somehow Macron does kind of influence this. He has these great ideas which coincidentally kind of merge with the ideas of what the EU wants to do. Totally coincidentally. So he can kind of take all these wins quite well, and you can see it in the poll numbers. He's doing quite well compared to the other candidates. Who are about half as popular as he is.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Quite shitty candidates, so it's hard.
Pécresse, Pécresse is the EPP candidate is head and neck.
Because it's a bit better than, but the thing is, to be fair, I don't know too much. Just the few bits. Doesn't seem that great. It's more like compared to the rest, seems decent. It's not like it's not your dream.
Yeah.
You don't dream of yes. You accept. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Here, Let's Stay Civilized put up a nice little graphic there. Now, you've got Macron obviously leading, and then you can see Pécresse. She's not doing badly actually. Le Pen is still kind of ahead. But it's still 2 months. 2 months is a long time in politics, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Zemmour, of course, the new candidate, the fascist, in fourth place.
It's really important that Bossy and Le Pen run, because dividing the votes is the best thing there. Which this goes hand in hand with our worldview, where the far right and the far left, it's the same thing, kinda.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they went so far to the right, they became leftists, which divide themselves in elections and lose.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's the only thing the right has for it. You can blame the right for everything that you want to, but you can't. Usually, the right is the one where they go, even if it's 2-3 parties, whatever. They say, okay, this is the leader. You vote for that, and we win. They have like their own little fights, whatever. But when it comes to
who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the next Hitler? Sorry, I didn't mean that, guys.
Yeah.
But it is,
But at least they win elections. Instead, they went left, which is who's the real left? And they become 50 parties, and no one wins because they are 50 parties.
Exactly.
So it's nice of them.
It's nice, This is why Dante and me are centrists, by the way. Because we don't want to deal with this shit all the time. All this drama.
Yeah.
If you want to have drama, you go to another Discord server. That's the way Forum Gottefunken works. We don't do drama. So but this is all kind of
speaking
coming
about
up
drama.
Yeah.
Speaking about drama. Let me talk about Meta.
Yes. And Google.
So. When it comes to Google, it's a bit more straightforward. They did shit.
Yeah.
We decided that the shit is kind of illegal, and we called them for it.
Exactly. And now they can't use it anymore. In France and Austria, I believe, are now the places for that. So that kind of hooks in with the previous topic, of course.
Yeah.
See, by the way, Black Owl is very, very red-pilled here. He says, imagine not being a centrist. Exactly. It's imagine having ideals,
Yeah. And the thing is, so the Google one, as I said, it's quite straightforward. There's not much more to it than that. The Meta one, so the Facebook group, the Meta Facebook, whatever you want to call it, the whole group, there it's a bit different. I mean, first of all, headlines have been a bit too much, because it's not like Zuckerberg went on interviews saying "fuck you, EU, we are gonna leave" or whatever. It's a bit different. They had their annual meeting with the stakeholders, whatever, and they were saying, "Look, the old system in place between the EU and the US for
that's been declared,
privacy."
Yeah, that's been declared basically illegal by the ECJ, hasn't it?
Has been declared illegal by the ECJ.
Yeah.
So unless there is a new system in place, until there is one, in theory, they are not allowed to operate in the EU sending data to the US. So they would either keep the data in the EU or cease operations. But that was a report for its stockholders, which I mean, obviously it was going to be public, and obviously it was going to be known by everyone. But actually, something along these lines, written a bit differently, was in last year's report, almost word for word, some sentences. So like literally copy paste plus a few more words. So it's not like that. But it's not like Facebook were really.
Yeah, we're gonna say exactly. Mark Zuckerberg didn't go on Italian or French TV and take a giant shit, basically.
Yes.
What he did is, this is how how the shareholders report basically states it. That's all it is. Yeah.
But to be on the other hand, I mean, first of all, this, even if they are the one that went on the news for it, it's not like they are the only ones that use data. I mean, in theory, even Google, and I don't know right now where Google processes data. Maybe they do a bit here and a bit there.
Yeah.
But in theory, they are affected by it as well. Amazon, whatever, all of them. Either you are, unless there is a new deal between the EU and the US.
Yeah.
The EU and the US are working on it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's very hard to especially these very different systems. Europe takes privacy much more seriously than the US
it's not going to. And I mean, it was quite hard to get it back in the days. Now we have the GDPR as well, and other systems in more. So,
I mean, this basically makes companies have to have a data center in the EU if they want to process, real personal data, for advertisement, for things like that. I think this is actually a good thing. I mean, if you unify it, it's going to end up in America anyway. And it's nice to have the data here in the EU so that you can kind of first of all control it and check it.
And one of the things was how if your data is in the US, the NSA can ask for it, and Facebook has to comply.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I mean, for the same reason, I don't want my data in China. I don't really want it in the US.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't want. It's a bit too much saying it this way, because there is a difference between China, where it's a dictatorship, and the US, where it's a democracy. There are more systems in place to not go willy-nilly about it, but still, I trust the EU more. So I would rather data stay here.
Yeah. Within the EU, privacy is. I mean, everyone takes privacy quite seriously here. But I mean, in countries like the Netherlands, it's especially important to our, our way of life to expect. Privacy is a very, very big issue here, and always will be. Basically, it's also coincidentally, it's also the reason that Dutch people can still torrent stuff. Without being penalized, because the ISPs are under no obligation to release the names of people that have torrented all these movies. Because that would be an invasion of privacy. Because you can't guarantee that person did it.
I don't actually know the law.
Yeah.
Too much, because the thing is, it kind of changed. There was a point where it was like illegal to download but not to stream, I think, or whatever. But no one, I think. let's say that less than 100 people have ever gone to jail because they downloaded something in Italy.
I don't think
Maybe there is
anyone
going
has,
to be
be honest.
maybe one
Yeah.
has been there. I don't know. So that's why I'm saying less than 100,
I
just
mean,
to make sure.
the founders of Pirate Bay were jailed for a while, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is
That was
that's
over other things, I think.
Yeah, but there are some get jailed if they host pirate content, then maybe they have ads or whatever, so they make money of it. But as a consumer, let's say, just downloading it, it's usually not really persecuted, even if it's illegal, whatever. No one cares. So yeah. Anyways, I was seeing in the chat. I mean, it's an interesting point of view here. Like it's a topic. The thing is, having this segregation of data here or there or whatever can lead to more busy work and barriers to entry for new small competitors and giving us consumers less choice. Personally, I don't fully agree because of two main reasons. First of all, when it comes to GDPR, there are some leeway, like the rules applied to small entities are less compared to what's applied to the big ones. The rules are not the same for everyone. The bigger you are, the more stuff you have to do, and and that's like the first thing. Then there is the part of yes, regulations is going to make it harder for new competitors, that's for sure. But I could say the same thing when it comes to let's say making houses or whatever.
Opening a bakery or something. Yeah, exactly.
70 years ago, if you wanted to build a house, less laws compared to now, for sure, especially when Europe was rebuilding. They were not checking everything was up to spec. But you don't really want now your house to be built by someone that doesn't follow at least some basic rules. And the thing is, those basic rules are now in place because they were not followed. So they need to be rules there. I mean, usually you do rules only if someone broke those rules and you now need the rules. If you have rules regarding data, it's because it was the Wild West companies, which is obviously the big ones. They kind of went a bit too far. Because
it's not
obviously
like,
they had to.
for example, there's also in the Netherlands, you've got the Chamber of Commerce, which really helps the smaller medium businesses deal with the stuff. They will tell you which regulations you need to comply to start your business. They will tell you what's expected of you with new legislation and stuff like that. And that really does help, I think. See, this is something that the Europeans are quite good at. It's linking, linking different agencies, and through those agencies, basically creating more leverage for the market. And this is a good example of that. I think as soon as this digital stuff becomes more prevalent in small and medium businesses, for example, GDPR, how do you comply with that? You can go to the Chamber of Commerce and download a checklist.
But the thing is, it's the same as for every other regulation. If you don't know them well enough, you pay someone that knows them well enough to do it for you. It's literally the way it has always worked. Like when we were talking about buildings, don't think that the laws, the regulations there are always the same. They change every month, every year, whatever. Like I know someone working in the field as an architect. Half of his day it's simply paperwork to figure out how to do stuff. It's not actually doing architect stuff, So that's kind of how it is. And I was saying earlier, in chat, saying that yes, if a house is not structurally sound, they get harmed. If the guy making Snapchats didn't fill the paper right, I'm not harmed. I mean, it depends, because if your data has been, like let's say you are using TikTok, your data goes to China, and they can do whatever they want with your data. And let's say it's TikTok with your data. China is influencing younger people to do harm to your democracy.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of harming your life.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So I mean,
the thing it's a bit like more abstract. Like obviously a house falling on your head, it's a bit different compared to data.
Yeah.
But there is so much stuff that comes with it. I mean, Cambridge Analytica, I think, should have teach something to us, which I think that's when data can go to the extreme. And there are other things as well, but that's like one of the examples where it can go horribly wrong.
I mean, this to me is also kind of on a broader sense kind of indicative that the EU basically every crisis is an opportunity for the EU. We've had the crisis with Cambridge Analytica. We're dealing with it now. Digital single markets coming up to deal with the crisis in well, not really crisis, but the problem of cross-border privacy and payments, financial streams and stuff like that. I mean, we deal with problems quite on a step-by-step basis in that way. And to me, I mean, this kind of goes into the next topic as well, because we were talking about France and now with Google and with Meta, but the EU is now going to pump 43 billion euros into chip manufacturing. Big crisis. Everyone needs chips. No one's got them anymore except for Taiwan. And Taiwan,
It's not just. It's that for sure on the short term, but it's not just that. It's that it's we have some strategical industries that we need in Europe, like farming, for example. Kind of need that if you don't want to starve to death. And chips kind of getting more important, especially with the shortage that we are having now. It's getting more apparent how much we are reliant on chips, because it's not anymore just I can get a new laptop. It's everything has chips. You want to buy a new car, it has chips. You want to buy this, it has a small chip in it. You need to do whatever. It's we are using them so much, and we are going towards a future where we are just going to use even more, not less. So
it makes
there is a shortage that we need to fill, but
sense.
We need some independency. And it's not like having a new fab is going to make us self-reliant or whatever. But it's different between, and I mean, we are not nothing. We are almost nothing now. If you have something, you can grow it to more if you need. And Taiwan, great place, great guys, kinda could stop making chips if they get attacked by China.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, let's just say getting chips out of the country will be very hard then. So
to be fair, you could say that us having chips might make us less reliant. So more reluctant to have them.
And there's also the security aspect involved as well. I mean, if you have chips that are made in Europe, you can make sure that they don't have any funny stuff on board. And that's always been a problem. When you look at phones, or you look at cars, especially if you want self-driving cars. It'd be nice if someone from China couldn't log into your car and crash it.
To be fair, Taiwan is quite good at it. I mean, they have a good democracy, so it's not like we don't really have worries there. But I mean, as I said earlier, it's a strategical field. So
resource,
you need to have a foot. We might not become the dominant players, or we might. I mean, to be honest, it's expensive. But when you think about it, it's mostly just Taiwan. So if you want to really spend a lot, you can make them, I guess. Although it's really expensive, like really, really expensive. And the issue there is that it's not like you spend this money and it's done. You have to build new fabs with a new process every 2 years, every year, whatever, to get to the new node and stuff. So it's a bit expensive. expensive. But on the other hand, they literally print money faster than the money printer machines that print
exactly.
euros.
So at the moment, it's a great investment, definitely. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I mean, when you were talking about
before we go to the next topic, I just want to touch on something that I was seeing people talking about when it comes to GDPR and the bureaucratic nature of it to some degree. The thing is, it's true. If and this kind of applies to every regulation, I think. If you have a company or whatever, and you are already doing the good stuff, let's put it this way, the regulations are going to hinder you to some degree. Because it's a waste of time. It's like, let's say, out of your work day, you might have to waste 2 hours because you need to sign this, sign that, which you didn't have to before. And you are still doing the same stuff. You're still doing great. But on the other hand, so on your end, if you look at it that way, you are losing time. But if you look at a different in a different way, you were doing stuff correctly.
But others
were not. So you were actually competing in a market where you are at a disadvantage if you do stuff correctly. Now you are losing a bit of time because you need to comply with, literally writing a piece of paper where it's useless for you. But because of that, others have to do it. So the market, in theory, should be more
balanced,
equal.
Basically, the people that have not complied with those regulations will be doing a lot more time than you.
You already have all the processes. Indeed, you already doing what you needed to, so it's easier for you to go comply. Imagine a company that was all its structure was based on doing something that is now illegal. Then it's a bit harder to start to comply. So I mean, and that's for not just GDPR, but honestly for almost any regulation you can think of. It's regulations are never something that you say, oh yeah, there's a regulation, now I have to do more work, yay. Never that. But on the other hand, it's a bit of you kind of need it as soon as there is more than one player in a market. And the players are not great.
I mean, this is something that was kind of during Brexit, you heard a lot of it, the bonfire of regulations and stuff like that, that there's too many regulations. I always think, most regulations are there for a reason, and that reason it has been checked by multiple people. There is a case to be made for it, for this, for regulations in most cases. And of course, it's important to check this, to check regulations and to make sure that they're still compliant with the real world, as it were, because time changes changes the parameters that you have to work with. And those, I mean, that's with GDPR as well, it'd be nice not to have to check that accept button every time, when you go to a website. However,
speaking of which, wait a sec. That check button there, 90% of websites are doing it wrong and illegally, saying. But the EU doesn't have right now the power or the means to
go after
against everyone.
Exactly.
Because literally, I think 99% of them are doing it wrong compared to how it's supposed to be done. So,
just saying,
Just putting it out there.
But the fact remains that because of this implementation, people did adhere to it. People do try to adhere to it at least. And that creates a more balanced privacy market, as it were.
I mean, to be fair, not everyone is doing it the way it's supposed to be, but even those that are not doing it correctly, it's I mean, in theory, for example, you should have a big accept and a big reject all. And the accept button can't be, for example, green while the other one is red, for example, or something like you can't make the accept all seem the okay solution.
Exactly.
But for example, there are some that there is accept or customize or whatever, and then you have to do reject all from there. which is not the way it's supposed to be done, legally speaking. But on the other hand, before we didn't have the option to begin with as well.
Yeah.
So even if it's not done well, at least now I can just say no. I don't want these cookies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
So,
like
progress.
Black Owl says, there's over-regulation in some sense. But, I mean, this is why we have to keep on reviewing it. It doesn't mean that the regulations themselves, the reason for the regulations is gone. But, some other people that don't adhere to the rules. Russia. I thought I'd try one of your kind of jumps into another topic.
Yeah, you did great. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
So
good. But
I'm not the only segue guy here. You can do it.
I'm taking over.
This
week,
who
of
is
course.
taking over? Russia.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Sorry.
Oh shit, man. He's segued my segue. I can't believe this. So this week we of course heard a lot of chatter on the media about Russia invading Ukraine this coming week. I believe the date is set for Wednesday. Of course, this is Russia. We don't know, right? That's so smooth. Thank you, old man. Such a smooth segue, and then being segued again. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, Ukraine's basically shitting itself right now.
A bit. As far this comes from the US, so I don't know how reliable it is, but I would imagine relatively reliable. They were saying that Russia right now is in a position where they can commence a full-scale invasion whenever they want. At a moment notice, like everything is ready. They're all there.
Yeah.
They can start literally right now. Everything is there. It's not like they need to wait 24 hours to get there or whatever. So now it's just a matter of let's hope they don't.
Yeah.
Peace prevails. But just to make sure everyone is getting out. Italy called out its citizens. So like everyone is out. The UK did as well. The US did. I think most of the EU right now ask its people to evacuate Ukraine. Which, by the way, I don't completely get the evacuation of Kiev and the embassy. And Kiev is quite on the west.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
No, but the thing is that in the north you've got Belarus, and Belarus and Kiev are
that's
quite close. And Russia has been doing many exercises there this week as well. They've had, I think, 3 military exercises in the area. And a lot of Russian equipment is parked there at the border, and that makes them kind of nervous about it. Now, of course, I mean, if
that's a fair point. I wasn't thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, one of the more kind of likely scenarios is that if Russia invades, they're going to do it in a big way, which means shock and awe, which means that Kiev itself might be targeted. And, I don't know if I trust the Russians to aim right when it comes to, being able to determine which embassy is the Dutch one and which one is like the headquarters of the Secret Service or something, So,
I mean,
if I was a diplomat over there or a diplomat's family, I would want to get out, to be honest,
They have a good aim when it comes to airplanes.
Yeah, I
Not the right ones.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I think the Syrians might disagree, but I mean,
we
don't hear about them anymore
ones.
because they're all dead now.
Yeah, I was thinking more about Dutch planes.
Oh yeah.
They like
Dutch
to bring
planes.
those down.
There was a nice scandal last year, I think, which almost made our government fall. Which is that turned out that the Dutch had targeted a weapons factory in Iraq with their F-16s, and the weapons factory was a weapons factory, so it went boom when they hit it with their bombs, and the whole area around it was basically just wiped out, and there were like maybe up to 200 civilian casualties from that. You know, and that was a big thing. You know, so you know, I don't know if I even trust NATO to do it right. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, ask
And the thing is,
the Serbs will have something to say about that as well. You know, but well,
yeah, I mean,
they're not in the EU. We don't care about them. You know,
war never nice, is it? So hopefully
yeah.
not.
I mean,
Hopefully we don't have it. But
yeah.
sounds like we are going to. And there is something that, and here maybe, so I want to be a bit more of a on this topic. I'm pretty sure you know quite a bit here. I'm knowing you, and I'm pretty sure you have been getting all the information there is to be had. So I saw the US and other countries they removed the troops from Ukraine. But so they removed troops because they don't want if Russia attacks them. And I think Biden went on record saying something along the lines of if Russia attacks and American troops are killed or whatever, and World War would commence or something along those lines. So he removed the troops to avoid that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then he said that if Russia attacks, NATO is going to respond with full force or whatever.
Yeah.
Which doesn't don't those two things kind of collide? Like either you want to be there and full force, or you remove people because you get attacked in a war, so you don't want. I don't get it, to be honest.
Now I know the UK still has, for example, special forces in town in Ukraine to teach. They're basically there to teach them how to use the new weapons. You know, because we've been shipping weapons like mad to
special forces. It's different.
Yeah.
Special forces are not the infantry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit different
that's
kind of
different,
special forces.
So Ukraine doesn't have any US presence as such, but they do have the trainers and the observers. Of course, if Russia were to make a move, and a US soldier would be killed on Ukrainian soil, that would be bad, right?
Yes.
But because since they're trainers and stuff like that, it'll be a different situation. I think. I'm not expecting NATO to go to war over this, obviously, because NATO is defensive alliance, and you have to be part of the defensive alliance to take advantage of it.
Not really.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that individual states would not start interfering. The Czech Republic, for example, has
Ukraine can't trigger Article 5, obviously, because it's not part of NATO.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that NATO as an alliance can start shit up against Russia.
Yeah.
It's the same way as
Black Owls just posted all UK troops to withdraw from Ukraine as Russia. Okay, so that was today's news. Yeah. So the UK is now out as well, but that doesn't mean, for example, that the Czech Republic will be out, or that Poland will be out. Poland is part of NATO, so it's a member state, but. And it's a member state of the EU, so it has a certain defense thingy, but that doesn't mean that they can't act offensively. We'll see what happens. This is really, I'm still very much hoping that because the US managed to figure out the plans for the quote unquote invasion, and of course the Ukrainians know that now as well. It's coming on Wednesday. Well, let's party on until Wednesday and then be ready. I kind of hope that Putin will kind of go, no. Scholz is going to be visiting him this week, like I said. I believe that today Biden had a phone call with him. Of course, U.S.-Russia relationships should not necessarily affect the EU-Russia relationship. There are two separate things. But on this, we're all kind of united. Don't attack Ukraine. Because that would be bad for everyone, we'll make it bad for you.
The thing is, as I said, I know that, for example, defending NATO's borders, yes. Having I was seeing Black Owl saying full force means more troops on NATO eastern countries. Okay, but I don't see how that. So that's to stop Russia from, when they finished invading all of Ukraine, they don't go to Estonia or whatever.
Yeah.
which is they don't even bother, but whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't see, like, I don't think, for example, that I don't think Putin is going to finish invading Poland, Ukraine. So I was going, hey Poland, you old friend, let's keep going. I mean, we are here. We still have tanking the gas in the tank. So
Yeah.
let's, like, I don't think this necessarily matters too much. Like, yes, like, it looks nice that you have NATO there protecting you, whatever. But I don't think that's really a realistic scenario.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
we are
the
helping
thing is,
by withdrawing everyone. I'm not sure how we are helping there, Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it's not even just the helping there. It's more like, aren't we telling? Like you were saying, yeah, now we have Putin's plan.
Yeah.
He might have more than one, but even if we have, okay, we know Putin is going to invade tomorrow or do whatever.
Yeah.
So what? No one on our side is there. Ukraine can't do shit about it.
Yeah.
They don't have a force strong enough to deal with it.
Yeah, that's the realpolitik. But of course, I mean, the idea is that this will be a destabilizing factor in Europe. You know, we do not want a new war in Europe. That's definitely something that the EU and the US and formerly Russia as well were committed to. Pre 2014. And you could basically because Ukraine, if that kicks off, and it will be a massive slaughter for all sides. That basically guaranteed that Russia won't be able to hide the number of deaths that happen there too much. Because it'll be just too much, too many dead from an invasion like that. This will be a massive hit on the international community. Allowing another war to happen in Europe, and a war between countries, not like when Yugoslavia disintegrated. I mean, that was when that happened. Then it's kind of internal politics with a geopolitical. With geopolitical side of that, Serbia was pro-Russia, and Croatia was pro-EU, and Bosnia and Herzegovina basically exploded. I mean, that's different than really invading a country. That's a big step.
I mean, there was a bit of genociding going on, but I guess that's
exactly. But that's geopolitical. Then it becomes geopolitical for more reasons, as it were.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't like what you're saying. Would make sense if 2014 didn't happen.
Yeah.
But Crimea is under Russian influence.
Yeah.
Like under Russian control. The Donbas region, they have it now. It's still our ring state, let's say.
Yeah, so, exactly. I mean, since the first Chechen war, where Putin basically. I mean that was a true independence movement that he suppressed there.
But it's a bit. But the thing is, at least there it was Russia. It was within Russia.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Chechens wasn't exactly the best people ever.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
So
not
I mean, and it was far away. It's far. If it's far away, it's difficult to. Well, I mean, it's not saying that because it's far away we shouldn't care, but it becomes harder to exert your influence over that care. I mean, while you can protest with Russia and say that it's not going on, what are you really going to do about it? But I mean, Ukraine is right there. It's right in the middle of Europe.
So what are you going to do about it? Did we send troops to help Ukraine in the Donbas region?
Yeah, I mean, no.
Not
I mean,
really.
Russia we did actually now.
Russia sent its own troops. I mean, the thing is, like, we are talking about this like it's Russia invading Ukraine as a new thing. Russia has already invaded Ukraine. There are literally Russian troops within Ukraine fighting a war.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, there is literally a front line within Ukraine with Russian troops. Is that not a war?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yes, that is. I mean, but as we've been
So
supplying, of course, weapons. We've been supplying training troops. I mean, it all depends on what the Ukrainians ask for, right?
I mean, they kind of needed people since they had to send far right
No, no, no,
Nazis.
no. They've got enough. They've got enough people. I
They
mean,
do now because now they're in
yeah.
a way better position. But
Yeah,
back in the
exactly. But that
days,
took a while, That took a while to set up because that basically for them came out of the blue. That strike on the Crimea and the independence movements of Luhansk and Donetsk. God, man, I have to like learn to talk Russian to start understanding this shit. But
you mean Ukrainian, right?
But yeah, I don't know, Might be an extinct language soon. Who knows, Depends what Putin decides. But I
Which,
mean,
by the way, Putin
yeah,
did manage to do something for Ukraine.
yeah,
They managed to make Ukraine literally before Putin,
yeah,
when they had their old half dictator
yeah,
that they got rid of.
yeah, Yanukovych, yeah.
Ukraine was quite divided, literally half and half. The western half was
Yeah,
like the Ukrainian half, the eastern half was Russian half, and they were voting for two different parties, one for the West and one for Russia.
yeah,
After Putin, when I think it was the last elections, it was literally everyone on the West side when it comes to the EU and stuff. There is no more East-West divide.
yeah, exactly.
Putin managed to create the Ukrainian people.
Create the Ukrainian people, and give them also a sense of purpose in that way. I mean, I mean, not only that, but only the most recent kind of moves by him of I mean, they've increased NATO cohesion. They've increased EU cohesion. All the ministers sent a letter this week through Josep Borrell. Signed a letter by Josep Borrell to Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia. They've managed to, well, like you said, unite Ukraine, and managed to push Poland and Hungary more towards the EU position. Funnily enough, so win-win, guys. Thanks, Putin.
Or someone might say, Juncker planted Putin
Yeah.
to unite Europe.
Yeah, this is this is
Like
something
he
that
did
people
with
that might not
Brexit.
know, but this is a true form of conspiracy theory, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because obviously some people might not know it. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So
So
we don't believe in conspiracy theories here,
no.
but we have one,
Yeah,
which is the EU, especially with Juncker, planted in Russia, Brexit, Trump. They're all been planted by Juncker
yeah,
to exert influence in order to make the EU stronger. You might say it's bonkers, but it's true.
yeah.
So-
There's evidence, man. There's
Yeah, there
evidence
is
to that,
evidence.
and
Did you see how much we grow?
Yeah.
Like we got PESCO out of Brexit. We have people talking about EU army.
Yeah,
You have Ukrainians waving EU flags.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I mean, it's going quite well for the EU in that way. So we thank you, Saint Juncker. He by the way he's now back in Luxembourg. Every now and then I see him coming by on my feed.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
obviously,
CTN also believes this conspiracy theory. It's it's plausible. It's
Yeah, I
plausible.
mean, Black Owl was saying about COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID, it wasn't made in a Chinese lab or species going from one to the other. It was done in Juncker's home.
Yeah,
He did
yeah.
COVID to unite us even more.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. So I mean, let's be honest. The Juncker's influence is still there.
Yeah.
It's it's very plausible. Anyway, so
Yeah,
I mean, going back to the subject though, what I've also kind of seen this week is, in my news feeds, because I've got like a number of news feeds which are basically always open on my desktop, and the one of the things is that how's real life in Ukraine right now, and it's interesting to see, because of course this is something that's happening on their doorstep. It might just kick off any moment. People are quite sanguine about it, but people have been preparing bomb shelters as well, and there's plenty of places to hide basically. And it's really interesting to see, that Ukrainians are taking it really well. And, I mean, we talked about this last week, that, what could this do to the psyche of the Ukrainian? Imagine you grew up in that environment. And it's actually quite, they're really
because you know better than me. Is there still toilet paper, or did they already buy the roll?
No. There's still toilet paper, There's been no panic buying or anything, I mean, people just living their lives, and it's nice to see. The cafes
I'm saying it jokingly, but legit, we went all really panic because of the pandemic. We were thinking maybe we were not going to find stuff or whatever, which was, I mean, it ended up way better than we thought, I guess.
I mean, to be honest,
it's a war. It might literally happen. Like, if you are behind enemy lines, you're not getting your grocery easily. So, to be honest, they're doing a lot better than most of us would do.
Yeah, exactly.
But on the other hand, the thing is, I don't even know how you would even go about it. Like, how do you? On one hand, like, this is not like yesterday. It didn't start from just from yesterday, whatever. It has been going on for years by now.
Yeah.
So you are kind of used to it, but now it's getting more serious. But maybe it could take even months or whatever. So it's not like you can, let's quit my job and find a way to go away. Because nothing happened yet. Maybe nothing is going to happen. But on the other hand, if war starts,
you don't want to be anywhere near it. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and can you even not be near it, especially if you are on the border?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was talking to a guy. I mean, on FG and on Reddit, you are basically anonymous. Your nickname is who you are, and so you can't really tell where people are from. But there was a guy who said he was from that part of Ukraine, and he basically said, I mean, people are just taking it as it goes, day by day. And when you're in that situation, once war breaks out, you day by day is gone. You can't live in a war zone. So what one of the big concerns for the EU, of course, is the refugees which will be coming over the border. For example, Orban this week said that we should really have a good system for that. So this is bringing the crisis a little bit more closely. This time the refugees might come from our own back door, basically. And the EU is already planning for these refugees, obviously, but it's going to change the whole migration debate again. I mean, migration never goes away. Let's be honest, right? It'll always be something
I don't really think it's going to change things much.
No,
when it comes to the EU policy, I don't think we are going to change how it works.
No, I think
it's going to be wherever they first get to, that's who has to deal with it. Because I don't really see why anyone else would not want that.
Yeah.
As long as you are not the one. I mean, as long as you are not the one having to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd rather have others deal with it, and I don't see why the Netherlands or Ireland or whatever they're not going to get anytime soon. So they're just going to vote against that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you need unanimous.
Yeah, I mean, the countries that border Ukraine, I mean, are Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania, with Moldova just kind of stuck on. And I mean, those are the countries that are going to see the bulk of the refugees, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine
yeah.
mostly Poland.
Yeah. Poland and Romania have about equal sized borders with. I think Poland's border is just slightly bigger than Romania's border. Romania might also be a possibility because they're in the south.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I guess half of Ukraine, their eastern half would go to Romania, and the western half probably to Poland.
Yeah. I mean, but the problem is there that Moldova's in the way, and in Moldova there's already Russian soldiers.
Yeah, and to be fair, I was thinking about yes, Romania is closer, but depending on how it is, because I mean, if it's like Russian troops are at the border and they're fighting, and in 1 week they're coming here, you would go west, you go to Poland and maybe try to go to Germany instead of going to Romania, and then what are you going to stay in Romania? Like, no one wants to go there, so I expect Poland to get most of the people.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Poland's already having to deal with Belarus at the moment as well, which is where they tried to inject refugees from Iraq over the border.
Yeah, they had that.
So when it comes to dealing with refugees and dealing with their border policy, I think Poland will probably be a lot more forgiving with Ukraine, obviously. But they've also got a lot of systems in place to deal with this kind of thing, whether it's police systems or whether it's social systems.
The thing is that they really don't. No one does. They have system in place. I mean, the thing is, the system in place they're not ready for emergencies.
No. Like, they won't. I mean, and this is why, for example, the EU wants to quickly inject some cash into this. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything. The cash, I'm sorry, but like, I mean, let's speak realistically here. If people are coming, I expect Poland is going to have a few houses or whatever when they can house people, and to, like, as soon as they come, they need a place to sleep, and then to get papers in order or whatever. You can house 100 people. Maybe they have a space for 1,000. I don't think they have there. They can manage, let's say, 4 million people. No one does. You don't have that kind of system, because why would you? Why would you have a system in place to deal with 4 million refugees, which is going to cost a lot to keep going?
Yeah.
Or something
it's
that even
different
care
than
about.
what happened basically when Merkel said, "Wir schaffen das," and opened the borders, and I think it was 1 million that went to Germany through the Balkans, basically. So I mean that says a lot, I mean, if it's 4 million, then we've got a problem,
And it's not like Germany had.
But this will definitely push migration to the top of the agenda. Pardon.
I mean, for sure. But
in other countries, so
I don't expect Italians are going to say, we're going to get them. Or Greeks. Or Spanish.
We'll send them to Greece.
Yeah,
I mean,
why not?
The conditions in the Greek camps are still quite sad, to be honest. For refugees.
But it's a bit less cold,
Yeah.
I mean, not much.
Not much. I mean, they had snow in Athens, was it last week or the week before? So I mean, that says a lot, But anyway, I mean, this is something that this week we'll be watching. If anything happens, we might even do a special on it. We've also on Forum Gottefucken, we've re-enabled the Ukraine topic, which Black Owl and others will be posting into, and I'll put an announcement for that tomorrow. And of course, on Sunday we'll be talking about it on the Europe Talk, which is the new Reddit feature, which we're going to be trying to kind of get people to listen to, and it's gone quite well. We had 64 listeners last week on Reddit, so that was good. And
that's good.
It's I mean, the format is of course different than the EUROCAST. And the EUROCAST is you and me talking, and every now and then we pull someone in, knows something about a topic, or we think wants to talk about it anyway. But over there we really try to get people to talk about it, to respond to the topic. So yeah, so I mean, this week will be interesting. That's all I can say about Ukraine at the moment. We don't really know anything.
Hopefully, it's not it. Hopefully, nothing happens.
Hopefully, nothing happens. But
Which, by the way,
yeah.
this is one of the things where it's really hard for me because I don't really know what's even the best thing to do. Like I've been complaining a bit about having troops outside of it.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what's the best solution here. Like I feel it's almost like World War One and World War Two.
Yeah.
All over again, where in World War One it was the eagerness caused the war. If diplomacy kept going, even in the last few hours, we might have been able to avoid the war.
Yeah.
So
yeah, different time, you know. I mean that as well, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, back then, it was way worse than it is now. It was the situation was way worse, and in theory, if they still kept going about it, they could have managed to avoid the war. Meanwhile, so let's say they're going diplomacy at full force, trying to de-escalate as much as possible. There would have been the winning solution, let's say. Meanwhile, World War II, let's say appeasement didn't work much. Maybe being if let's say France and the UK attacked Germany as soon as the Nazis attacked Poland, I'm pretty sure the German Reich would have ended quite soon, and the whole World War II would have ended in a few weeks, a month, or whatever. And you wouldn't have the whole, world war. So one time diplomacy till the end was the answer. The other time going full on as soon as possible, like at the start, would have been the solution. So now, which one is the solution? Is it get everyone outside, do as much as the escalation as you can, as much diplomacy as you can, or is it putting people there so Putin knows that if he wants to fuck things up, then he doesn't? Like, what is the solution? No one knows, I guess.
And that's up to Ukraine, really, isn't it? I mean, Ukraine has decided, that this is the way that they want to deal with it. And Poland, I'm sure that Poland can be persuaded to put troops in Ukraine if Kiev really asked for it. They said, we want Polish troops, and because the relationship between Poland and Ukraine, I mean, this is something that we haven't really talked about. The people in Poland and Ukraine are very much kind of related, and and have a lot of contact with each other. There's a lot of people already working in Poland from Ukraine. It's I think they're their biggest immigrant population, and this will really the relationship between those two, and also Lithuania and Ukraine are basically the drivers. They are the ones at the front of the queue when it comes to how do we support Ukraine via NATO, via country to country equipment, for example. I know, for example, Lithuania is giving manpads to Ukraine this week. So those are the Stinger rockets. Famous from Afghanistan, of course, where they took down a shit ton of Russian helicopters. These are new Stingers, by the way. These go up to about 4,000 meters, and can kill quite a lot. I mean, if you want to do high altitude bombing, you could do that. Being Russia, but I
don't know that I agree.
This really kind of dissuades them from using helicopters as troop carriers, as an invasion force, or as attack craft. And I think
I don't think that it's fair to say it's all about on what Ukraine wants. because of two main reasons. First of all, if the EU is to be a superpower,
Yeah.
a big player, by its own very nature, whatever you do, you have responsibility. You do nothing, that's a decision. Doing something, it's not like you can say whatever. Like whatever, no matter what you do, it's a decision that you're doing something or nothing. And when it comes to Ukraine, they literally didn't like us pulling out everyone. So we are not exactly doing what they want. And we are not saying to Ukraine, did we assign, like, did we ask them if they want an alliance with us? Not really. So it's not like we are doing whatever Ukraine wants. They're not the ones in the way. It's a bit, I think, unfair to say it's all about what they want. It's a bit
But
washing your hands of it. I think. Like, we have some responsibility.
I mean, yes, Poland is part of the EU, you know, but we all know that the Polish government has a different view of what the EU does for them than, for example, Germany or others do. I mean, we saw this during the border crisis in Belarus, that Poland got the system in place straight away, you know, made sure everything was okay. But I don't know if they do that with Ukraine, is what I'm saying, you know. Have the amount of police and border troops that they, I mean, obviously because it's the border with Ukraine could become the border with Russia, you know. Let's be honest, you know, Poland will definitely want to do something with that. And then you could possibly see that, you know, if for example, let's just in a very kind of sketchy scenario say that Kiev does fall, you know, to troops from Belarus, you know, you'll get a massive response from the population of Ukraine to move into Poland, and Poland might just say, okay, well then we'll put some troops into the east of Ukraine, you know, or into the west of Ukraine, I mean, and then, you know, you've already got a hybrid situation there, you know. Same thing with Romania and Hungary and Slovakia might not like all this, you know, and they might want to take advantage of it in some way as well. I mean, then this is really kind of, you know, this could be a big soup if international diplomacy kind of falls apart.
To be fair, when it comes to Poland, I think there is a discussion there. I don't think Romania and Czechoslovakia or Slovakia, whatever, I don't think any of them are going to want to even touch it, any of it. I don't think Romania is going to say, let's possibly have a war with Russia. No. Poland might do something, I guess, but I guess you could say they could go, let's say, a few thousand, like let's say 10 kilometers within Ukraine to set up stuff. But I don't think they would hold the line, and if troops come, they would fight or whatever. I don't really think that would happen.
I don't know. I mean, this is such an unknown, you know. That's it. I mean, you know, we could always talk in you know what could happen. I mean, but we'll just have to wait and see what does, you know. Situation on the ground is at the moment stable.
Hopefully nothing happens.
Sorry?
Let's hope nothing happens.
Yeah. Let's hope nothing happens, guys. You know, but you know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Basically, is the operating slogan, I think.
By the way, I was reading an article talking about it a bit here about preparing for the worst. We didn't, did we?
How do you mean?
When it comes to Western powers, the EU and everything else, we didn't really prepare in the case Russia invaded. Did we? We didn't really spend much. Like we are quite on emergency and crisis mode. We didn't start not like it's easy. We did some small things, I guess.
No, there's
but
already.
We did allow Russia to get to this point quite relatively easy without too much friction.
Yeah, that's not really true, I think. I mean, about preparedness, for example, most countries in the EU have the Magnitsky Act. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, which is basically named after Sergei Magnitsky, who was jailed and murdered in Russia by Putin's regime. And because of that, there were sanctions put in place on a number of Russian businesses, and who stole
Yeah, not
the
Putin.
oligarchs' money.
Yes, but they're not
Yeah, but it's not. But it's very
Putin.
easy now to add people to that list, And if you add Putin to that list, and he's not on that list yet, basically he can't get anything from Europe, and personally, and this is one of the reasons that, for example, Putin, or what people are speculating that one of the reasons that Putin moved his yacht out of Germany. He's got 3 of them, by the way. He's got 3 massive yachts around the world, but he's moved them to Kaliningrad, which is the little kind of bit of Russia that's between Lithuania and in Poland, basically. And just because of his the fact that as soon as he does anything, he's on that list. Of course, I mean, when we're talking about the sanctions, this is something that was mentioned by, let's say, Civilized on the chat, that we could cut off Russia from SWIFT as well. These are things that are ready. The EU already has prepared a lot of things for this beforehand, so it's not like we're not prepared for them doing anything now. But at the time, it came out of the blue. What Putin did, of course. This is. Together with the attacks against NATO, which the Russians are responsible for, which was the release of Novichok in Salisbury in England, and the murder of Alexander Litvinenko, who was a British citizen at the time, with polonium. Which is an NBC attack on NATO, I mean, that basically set the scene. So it's not like, we're not prepared for this that way.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
yeah.
what you're saying,
we see all these NATO things, going on. NATO troops are moving to Lithuania. We're seeing NATO troops in Poland at ready. The US is sending, I think, 3,000 new soldiers, which is actually not much, but it's a signal. That
but the thing
Biden's
is,
looking,
I would say none of these things are really preparation in the sense of stuff you need to prepare. Like, when I say prepare, I'm thinking about more structural things that takes years. Like, yes, you can sanction Putin. Like, now we can do that. But it's not like if it comes to like putting in place sanctions on Putin, it's not something that takes long in itself. Like deciding that, having everyone agree, sure, but if everyone agrees, you can have that in a day, 2, maybe, I don't know, 1 week, whatever. It doesn't take long. It's not like we prepared because now we can write an angry letter faster. I don't know. I know it's like, yes, we can do some stuff. Like we were saying earlier that now the US is sending a few troops. Sure, they could have done it no matter what. It's not like they prepared to do that. And you were saying earlier about what happened in Salisbury. I mean, that's a good example of shit happened. Nothing happened to Putin really
afterwards.
out of that. So that's when I was saying that we knew, like, we were going towards this direction and nothing has been done. And to be fair, as I was saying earlier, it's a bit of is it better to go diplomacy, appeasement, sanctions? I mean, you could argue that maybe sanctions, the ones in place, hurts the economy. Therefore, Putin's ratings. Therefore, Putin wants to start a war to get his ratings back up, like last time. You could argue that. So,
but I mean, the
what's
EU,
the
for example,
correct answer? No one knows, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't.
I mean, the EU, for example, this week also told China if they endorse the invasion of Ukraine, that the EU will levy sanctions on them, and I think that says how seriously they're taking it. It's not like this is a low stakes game to the EU. They're taking it really seriously. I think also because Josep Borrell, for example, he you know, that all the foreign ministers of the EU are kind of communicating through him now. You know, so he's basically the spokesperson for 27 member states. Many of which are in NATO, many of which are not. You know.
Well, I wouldn't go so far there. I wouldn't like yes, but he has his own views. Quite often he says his own views. Like I'm pretty sure Ireland is not as fiery as he is.
Exactly. But I mean,
or Austria or Sweden, like the neutral countries, or Malta. I don't think Malta cares that much. To be honest,
they do, because it's in the Mediterranean, and that's where all the Russian ships are going past right now. So.
And I don't know. I was saying earlier, like, yes, we are red. Like the EU is right now is speaking quite relatively strongly, all things considered. But we didn't prepare. When I say we didn't prepare, and to be honest, I'm not even sure myself what the preparation, the best one would have been to begin with, to be honest. But I guess all we did was appeasement, and now increased our voice, kinda.
Yeah.
We didn't. I don't think we did. Like, for example, if we want to talk preparation, having a stronger EU army in the meantime to have a stronger voice, if it comes to it, might have helped. Or something like, I'm pretty sure still right now, if you want to do logistics in the EU, we don't have. It's not easy to send tanks from one side of the EU to the other side. It still takes a long time because trucks are different, and
yet we
so
are,
on.
and yet we are. I mean, through NATO, for example, there have been exercises in Lithuania.
Yeah, but not a lot. That's even like. If you consider 2014 was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We didn't really do much in those 10 years. We didn't prepare much. We increased our voice, but I don't think.
But I mean, how much of a priority was it? Is basically what you're asking. I mean, how much of a priority was in the EU for the last 10 years? I mean, we have had COVID.
Wasn't.
I mean, there are factors which kind of feed into it from other sides. I mean, for example, the Sputnik vaccine. That was something that we had problems with Russia. They tried to hack the chemical agency that was investigating things in Syria, in the Netherlands. We caught them actually, which was really funny. Don't mess with the Dutch Secret Service, man. The AIVD is serious business.
They tried to hack the French elections, but they didn't manage to because they had to speak French.
Yeah.
It didn't work well.
Well, it was funny that during the 2016 election, the Russians hacked into the Democratic Party, right, in the US, and the Dutch Secret Service hacked into the Russians hacking into the Democratic Party in the US, and they actually managed to catch them on CCTV behind their computers hacking, actually doing it, So that was, that's the kind of thing that the Dutch Secret Service is up to. They're really on top of things. So I mean, and that says a lot for as well about Ukraine when we're talking about intelligence. I think what we've seen this week is the US saying yes, there's going to be an invasion. We've seen it before where they've published information that is. That basically says, okay, they're going to try, to do a false flag attack through means, and there was one that they tried to do with a drone, I believe, a false flag attack. The Russians on the Ukrainians, to give them a casus belli, to be able to invade. And
I don't know that it's like the thing is, I think it's kind of back in the days to some degree. It's always the same story. That the Nazis, Germany used a false flag attack to invade Poland, right?
Yeah.
They had attacked one station, I think it was in Germany, like a radio station, I think, pretending they were Poles, and then started attack that way. So it's the same story all over again.
Yeah. But the secret services are involved, in a big way in this as well.
Yeah, but this, what we want to say is that I don't think it matters too much. Like, like it's a good, like, yes, it's a job that it's useful and it has its place, but look at what happened at what HM17 flight. HM, right?
Yeah,
The
MH17. Yeah. The Dutch. Well, I mean, that's really interesting because at the time there was talk about the Dutch actually sending troops in to secure the area. And that would have changed a lot, and that made the rebels basically back off from that area. Because the threat of the Dutch sending troops in to secure the area where that crash happened.
yeah, but I want to go a bit on a different route there. I was not, when it comes to information, it became quite soon apparent, quite obvious that it was the rebels mistakenly shooting
it was
down
actually
the plane.
Russians. It was actually Russians. Yeah, that supplied the weapon and that
Russians
fired,
supplied the weapon. And the rebels didn't know how to do it. Like they don't know how to, because I mean, it's not like they are professionals to begin with. So, so they did that. And after that, what Russia did, which was something they started back then, I think it was near this. I don't know if saying the start is correct, but it was near the start, I guess. They since started doing a lot more of that, which is they started adding information like white noise. It wasn't about convincing people that this thing is what they're saying is true or not. Like they went on with a quite obvious fake footage that they wanted to say that it was Ukraine shooting down the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
And what they did, for example, they went right away on the Wikipedia page on that plane model. They changed the maximum altitude from 7,000 to 10,000. And then obviously people went there and said, yeah, no, it's not true. So they changed it from 10,000 to 7,000. So now they're using now what happened then was, and you could see that like on Russia Today interviews and whatever, because obviously they would do that, having interviews with people saying, yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm seeing on I went on Wikipedia, I saw that they changed it from 10,000 to 7,000, so something must be happening there without knowing that it was changed before, or that.
And the amount of Twitter noise that you got as well was incredible. I mean.
The thing is, it's not about convincing people about this is the true thing. They went past that. They know that that's hard. What they do now is always not decline the truth that it's the truth, and just deflect and say 10,000 bullshits. And people, when it's 10,000 bullshits and one which is true, you have 10,001 informations to check which is the true one. And if it's not your job, it's pretty much impossible to stay on top of it. For the general people, it's, I don't know, whatever. So that's what I was saying earlier. Getting back to the point. Yes, it's useful what secret services are doing or whatever. But if Russia wants to attack, they can easily spin it into it was this, it was that. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. No, it's not going to be a universal truth. Everyone is going to have whatever opinion they want, and they can use that white noise to get whatever position suits them the most, and they can just attack. And at the end of the day, sure, information is useful. Without it, it's really hard to conduct war.
True.
But if you don't have the people and the troop and the equipment to have actually a fight, it's quite useless.
That's right. I mean, we're talking about the amount of troops that Russia is stationed around Ukraine at the moment is 123,000. That's a lot.
Which
Ukraine
is going to join,
has maximum, I think, 50,000, 51,000.
I think they have more than that now, but I mean, the issue is that they don't have the same army.
Exactly.
They are nowhere near what Russia has.
I mean, to me, I mean,
it's not even just one front; it's a two-front war. It's like they have to deal with Belarus as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think Belarus has that great of an army, but when you have to split up, not the greatest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great stuff.
Do you know who else is trying to invade? My cat.
I was thinking you were going to say Chicho.
No. My small. No, Chicho is there as well. Is he trying to invade the chat?
Yeah, I mean almost. Yeah, he was here now. Now he went to the other room. So.
Well, my cat's been bugging me. She's looking at me very, very kind of with big eyes right now. A little small wants some num-nums, doesn't she? Yeah, that's what I thought. She's been kind of circling around me while we've been talking, really distractingly, and meowing. I don't know if they'll be you guys maybe heard it, but she's been really kind of trying to get me trying to get me to do things. So she's been having a good week. It's nice to know.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess she is more decided. I think the Eurocast.
Eurocast must end.
Yeah, it must. What?
And it's exactly midnight, by the way. It's exactly midnight.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we are on point.
We are on point. Just like most weeks. I was going to say every week, but the last few weeks have been an hour and a half, and we just do it as the topics go. Some weeks are boring.
And sometimes topics are.
Yeah.
You have more to speak
sometimes
about.
Sometimes it's complicated. Sometimes
it's complicated. I mean, we went a bit on complicated today. Like, I think what we learned is that I literally have no idea what the right answer is here. Like, what's the right strategy? No idea. Like, it's easy to think we should do that, but when you think about it, I don't know.
And
whatever
this is why we pay bureaucrats. That's with our taxes.
Yeah, I mean that's
they can figure this out.
Our leader is Draghi.
Yeah,
he knows stuff. I don't.
Rutte will manage somehow. He's always good with foreign policy. So
let's pay the smart people.
Yeah. Anyway, coming up next week, at the end, I just want to say, coming week. Tomorrow is obviously MEP Assistant's weekly EU news breakdown as well. He does that on Sunday at 8 on his Twitch channel. After that, there's the r/Europe talk, which is kind of when he ends, it starts. And I believe that next week we'll also hear from MEP Assistant what he's got on next week. And Meet EU will be doing its thing as well. They've got a lot going on at the moment. Check them out. That's basically it for this week, isn't it? We've done it. Let's see what the next one brings.
Hopefully not war.
Yeah, exactly. Keep an eye on Forum Gottefucken because Black Owl, me, Inos. All the news junkies will be on this, and of course I'll be keeping an eye on Twitter for you guys. So no worries. I'll fill you in when it's time to grab your ghost sack and escape the nuclear explosions. You'll know.
Yeah, you'll know.
Yeah. So anyway,
Good night, people.
Good night, people. We'll see you on the audio chat for the afters. So.
And next week, same time, Saturday, same place. Twitch,
right.
Discord, wherever you want, in your heart too.
And many greetings from to our Russian listener as well, Jack. I know you're listening. Good luck. And we'll speak to you next week.
Bye bye.